If you're in the market for an affordable conical fermenter and you don't want to spend $400, $500, even $1,000, you definitely are going to want to see the latest offering from Anvil. That is the Crucible conical fermenter. How's it going? My name's Brian. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you'd like to learn more about electric brewing, see how-to videos and product reviews just like this one, consider subscribing, and if you do, don't forget to click that bell so you won't miss a video when it comes out. Full disclosure, as with all my videos, Anvil did send this to me for review. This is kind of my initial first thoughts of it after getting it and putting it together and checking out the design aspects of it, and let's get into it. Affordable is definitely relative, but at $275 for the 7-gallon and $325 for the 14-gallon model, that's definitely affordable in my book. It hands down beats pretty much any other conical fermenter on the market right now that's stainless steel and is a true conical fermenter. So let's take a look at what comes with it. Now, when I unboxed mine, I was greeted with the manual and the LCD or the liquid crystal thermometer that you can stick on the side of it. And then after you pull the fermenter out of the box, you've got 3 legs in there. And then you might be kind of wondering, if you purchase one of these, you might be kind of wondering, okay, where's everything else at? Because there's nothing that's inside the fermenter and you don't see anything on the actual styrofoam underneath. So Anvil wanted me to kind of mention, and they may actually put a flyer in the box saying that you need to pull that bottom styrofoam out. Now, in the bottom of that styrofoam, you'll find a tri-clamp butterfly valve, a 90-degree elbow, 2 tri-clamps, 2 tri-clamp gaskets, a stopper, a racking arm, 3 plastic rivets, an airlock, and then also the sample valve. Installing the legs is pretty straightforward. There are some holes in the legs that correspond with holes in the plastic base. Just line those 2 up, and then you snap the plastic clip into the base through the leg. One thing about the clips is they do clip twice, so once you hear the first click, it's not all the way in. Push it a little bit harder a second time, and it'll click and actually seat directly against the plastic base. If you haven't had a conical fermenter with tri-clamps or anything like that, it'll just take a little bit of getting used to hooking up those tri-clamps. But basically all you need to do is just take the 90-degree elbow, put the tri-clamp gasket on it, put it up to the bottom, attach the tri-clamp, and then simply do the same thing with the butterfly valve at the bottom. Just put the gasket on, attach the tri-clamp to it, and that's pretty much how you assemble the lower portion of it. Now, as far as the sample valve goes with the racking arm attached to it, I like to recommend putting a little bit of lubrication. There's a white O-ring on the outside of the valve itself. So I like to recommend putting a little bit of lubrication on there to allow it to spin a little bit easier. And so what you do basically is just take that, put it in the hole, and then whenever you go to put the inside on, you want to make sure that you use the plastic washer that's provided and put that on the inside before you put the nut on. That allows it to actually swivel without loosening the nut. It gives it some slide. Put that on, and then you put the actual racking arm on. Now, one of my recommendations for the racking arm, if you haven't had a fermenter with one before, what I recommend doing is orienting the racking arm so that it lines up with the arm on the valve when it's closed. So if you have your arm to the side, then you got your racking arm basically the same direction, so that you'll know what direction it's in when you rotate it, and you won't be confused and possibly pick up some yeast or whatever the case may be when you're doing your racking. Now, as far as assembling the top, it's pretty much the exact same method or the same container as their bucket fermenters, but if you're unfamiliar with the bucket fermenters, basically they have a silicone O-ring in the top, and then you just set it on top, and it's got 4 clamps all the way around the exterior of the fermenter. Clamp those down, and then it's just a matter of dropping the airlock with the bung in the top. Another detail on the fermenter is that it does have the graduated markings on the inside, and those are embossed, so they will never wear off, or you can't really scrub them off or anything like that. One thing about the markings, I did do some testing to see how accurate they were, and I did notice that they were off by about 1/4 gallon. So basically, whenever I got to the 4-gallon mark, it was like 4 1/4 gallons. Not a huge issue in my opinion. I did contact Anvil about it, and they told me that that was an issue that they had with the first batch of these fermenters, and that they are going to be fixing that issue moving forward. Not a huge issue in my opinion, especially at the price point. Now, there are some accessories that are coming soon for this device. They don't actually have them yet, otherwise I'd have them. That is a yeast harvesting kit, leg extensions, and also a cooling kit with a jacket, coil, pump, and temperature controller. Basically, it's the same exact thing as what's on the bucket fermenters, and it does a good job of keeping ale temperatures. You can't lager with those, but I'll be very interested to see how it performs in this device. Although they don't offer one yet for the Crucible, I'm working on a CIP option. Basically, CIP is clean in place with a spinning attachment that you hook a pump up to, and it basically sprays hot water and cleaning solution inside of the fermenter to make cleaning much easier. I am anxious to get some beer in this thing, put it through its paces. I'll be doing a follow-up video on the first brew that goes through it, just to let you know how well the bottom port works and if it gets clogged or anything like that. Don't think it's going to be an issue, but I will definitely report back to you once I run my first batch of beer through it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the value for the price on this fermenter. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. We certainly do appreciate that. Remember to subscribe. This has been Brian for Short Circuited Brewers. We'll see you on the next video.